This video is brought to you by StoneAgeGamer.com. It's where you can go to pick up the new power-based mini converter. It's where you can play Sega Master System games on any Genesis model. So check out StoneAgeGamer.com, link below. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is John with Gamester81.com. This episode I'm going to review the newest clone console to the market. This is called the Gamerz Tek 16-bit entertainment system. It's basically a clone of the Super Nintendo. If you look at it closely, and I'll do an unboxing, it looks similar to a Super Nintendo. This is actually how this came to be. There's a local video game shop close to where I live. Great chain of stores here locally in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I've gotten to know the owner pretty well. His name's Zed. Great guy. He actually produced this console, which is really cool. And he's making this available in retail. The retail value of this thing is actually anywhere from $34.99 to $39.99. That's US dollars. In Canada, it's a little bit more expensive, $44.99 to $49.99. I think that's to do with the exchange rate and to the shipping cost to get it up there, etc. That's why it's a little bit more. There aren't many Super Nintendo clone consoles out there that are standalone. And what I mean by that is when you look at Super Nintendo clones, you have the Retro Duo, you have ones that have Super Nintendo and Nintendo. There aren't many that I know of anyway that just play Super Nintendo games. And what this is actually compatible with most Super Nintendo cartridges as well. It plays Japanese Super Famicom games in addition to North American games. I don't believe it plays any PAL games. So if you live in a PAL region like Europe, unfortunately this will not work with any of your games. That might be fixed later on. But as of now, this is only compatible with Japanese and North American carts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do an unboxing. I'm going to show you what's included in this. We're going to do a comparison video. I'm going to show you some gameplay and show you what it looks like so you can kind of tell me what you guys think. I'm excited to check this out. I think, honestly, for like, $35 to $40, not a bad deal for a clone console. I think it's pretty cool. It comes with two Super Nintendo controllers as well, and the Super Nintendo controllers actually look like the original Super Nintendo controllers, which is a nice touch. And this actually has some good weight to it. Not bad at all. Nice box so far. Let's do an unboxing and go from there. Okay, so here is a closer look at the box itself. I'm going to do an unboxing, show you what's included. And see, it comes with two controllers. You got the console deck. And here is the back. It shows you instructions on how to hook it up. It uses S-Video as well as AV cables, which is cool. It's pretty standard how to hook this console up. I'm not going to go over in details how to do that, but let's open this up, see what's included. So here is the console itself. Obviously, it looks like it's modeled after the North American Super Nintendo console. Let's take a look. It's got a pretty good weight to it. It doesn't feel cheap. You have a reset button. You have a power button. It doesn't slide. I'm going to compare this in size to the original North American Super Nintendo. You can kind of see the different size comparison. Here's to the right one's obviously the original. Here's the clone. So it's a little shorter. There's no eject button, which I never understood the eject button point of it anyway. Mine's yellowed over the years, of course. That's happened to some older models. But yeah, and then it's just the controllers will go in here like so. You have your power light here. So yeah, done a nice job of making it look like a Super Nintendo console. I think it looks pretty sharp actually. And then here is the back. You have your power, S-Video out, your AV cables. Now the list of games that this is not compatible with, there's a handful, maybe like a dozen Super Famicom games that are not compatible with the system. Most of the Super Famicom games will work. So the North American games that will not work on this include Street Fighter II Alpha, which doesn't work with a lot of clone Super Nintendo consoles. I guess it's something to do with the chip. It's got a lot of memory on that game. Super Mario RPG, the second release. The first release will work on this. The second one will not, which is odd. PGA Tour 96 and Kirby's Dream Land 3 will not work on this as well. But every other Super Nintendo game will work. As far as homebrew games and flash carts, to be honest with you, I don't have a Super Nintendo flash cart to test to make sure this works. My assumption will be that it probably will not work on this, but I don't want to assume it won't. I don't want to say it won't because I don't know how to test it, unfortunately. As far as homebrew games, I do have a homebrew game for Super Nintendo that I will test to see if this will work on it, so I'll let you know later in the video. Let's take a look at what else comes in the box. Let's move this aside. You have your AV cables. Here's your power adapter here. This is your S-Video. And these are the controllers. So controllers actually look and feel very similar to your standard Super Nintendo controller, which is nice for sure. Obviously, it doesn't have the Nintendo logo for obvious reasons, but yeah, hooked up nicely. I'll definitely let you know later on in the video. Let's show you some gameplay. So in conclusion, what do I think about the 16-bit entertainment system by Gamerz Tek? Overall, it's really not a bad system. I think the price is definitely reasonable. I think it's priced right. I like the cosmetically, I like the look. It's, as I showed you before in the video, it's modeled after the North American Super Nintendo system. You can see it looks very, very similar. Obviously a lot smaller. However, it's actually about the same size as the Model 2 Super Nintendo, as you can see. So cosmetically, I think it looks really cool. I like this video, and I love the controllers. Actually, the controllers are really well. I think they're probably one of the better controllers you'll find on a cloned console, to be honest with you. What's the benefit of having this compared to just normal Super Nintendo? Well, it can play most Japanese Super Famicom games. I say most because there's a dozen or so that it will not be able to read. In fact, some games I owned, it wasn't able to read some of the Super Famicom games, but it will work on a lot of them, actually. And I know the biggest complaint a lot of people have with clone consoles is the grip for the cartridges. Yeah, it does grip the cartridges a little bit. It's not as easy to pull out as it is on a normal Super Nintendo. However, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as some of the other clone consoles that I've dealt with. I like the fact that it's just a Super Nintendo. I think when you start adding other systems, you get a lot of working parts and things can go wrong with it. This is really, as I know of, this is the only standalone Super Nintendo clone console out there on the market. I think most other Super Nintendo clones, console-wise, not handheld, of course, will play NES games as well, in addition to Super Nintendo games, like the Retro Duel, for example, or the Retron 2, etc. Now, as far as the graphics are concerned, I don't know if you guys noticed with the side-by-side comparison, but the colors are a little bit more dull than found on Super Nintendo. You probably wouldn't notice it without the side-by-side comparison, but when you put them side by side, you can definitely tell that the Super Nintendo graphics are a little bit brighter. Nothing too bad. Nothing, honestly, that takes away from the gaming experience. As far as audio is concerned, it is louder. The audio is definitely louder on this system than a normal Super Nintendo. And the audio using the Super Game Boy, you probably noticed as well, is not very good. In fact, I turned the audio down because it was really loud and it would just blow out your ears. I want to save your ears on that. So it will play Super Game Boy and it will play Game Boy games through the Super Game Boy. One thing I really like about this bundle is the controllers. It definitely feels like original Super Nintendo controller, and the controllers are interchangeable, so I can use these controllers on a normal Super Nintendo and vice versa, which is really cool. And I can use games like, I can use a Super Scope 6 on here as well, depending if I have a normal standard television, not an HD TV, of course, because those light guns won't work on a normal high definition TV nowadays. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys liking this video, subscribing, leaving a comment is greatly appreciated. If you guys want to stay in touch, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as my website, Gamester81.com. We'll see you guys soon. Take care and happy gaming.